Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is video number 3 of our operations department. And before you have Debbie Edwards, who is my administrative secretary, and we have Mr. Hugh Mitchell, who is coordinator in the maintenance department. And I just want to show faces of those that I work with. And I wanted to ask Mr. Hugh Mitchell how he feels this time of year with all of the summer projects that are on the list.
This gets crazy, but we're gonna get it done.
A man of short words. He doesn't have time to mess around. You all saw the 13 pages that we put together, and it's going to be challenging to get all of the work done, but Mr. Mitchell is on task and ready to work hard. Are there any major issues, Mr. Mitchell, that you are experiencing at this time?
Nothing that we can't handle.
Mr. Mitchell is shorter on words than I imagined that he would be. So let's get down to business, Ms. Debbie. Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Sorry, I was adjusting something. Didn't mean to do the close-up. Custodians are due to come on board July the 11th. Once the board approves the new contractor, we will begin that process. But if you will, let the employees know that our GCA only, that job fair will take place on the 16th of June at Douglas County High School at 8 a.m. in the morning. And it's scheduled to go all day. And they need to show up on that Saturday, June 16th, to make sure that they are prepared to take on the next task that we have for them. Our original grandfathered, or some would say legacy employees that were originally employed with Douglas County schools, they will be given the opportunity to reapply. Hopefully they've already done that because the application has closed. If we have any out there that have not, then they need to contact HR immediately. But they have to pass a physical and a background check, and then we will move forward with them as well. Now we know that there are some struggles, and we're dealing with some of the hours that GCA is operating with as far as their employees are concerned. But our grandfathered or legacy employees are working 40 hours per week, so we are told. So let us know if that has been an issue. We know the grass is getting high. GCA used to cut our grass, but now we've hired our own internal crew. As you know, we had rain for about a week and a half, torrential rains in the area, and so that has delayed the process. And in the delay of the process, we also have grass growing extremely fast because of the hot weather we're experiencing this week. So as you look around in your respective neighborhoods where you live, I'm sure you see grasses getting high as the yard maintenance people and those who are employed in that occupation attempt to keep up. Long story short, we know your grass is getting up there, but we do have crews coming around, and you will see that happening relatively quickly. Project approval, we have 2 categories. I try to alert you to the projects that are on our radar. We asked principals what they needed, and you have provided us with that information. So anything just going forward that comes to us after June 1st that is not an emergency, that goes to the end of the list. The list is composed of those things that you saw on the 13 pages that were sent to you last time that I sent you an email. And so just know that we are trying to address your needs, but we have limited capacity in our paint shop, for example. We have 3 guys that paint for the entire county. We are working on hiring a summer paint crew. It has been difficult this summer to hire temporary employees because many of them are finding full-time employment. If you listen to the stats recently, the employment numbers in the United States in general have been pretty good. And really those who are unemployed, if they wanted to get a job, they probably could at this point with the current economy. And so I think we're feeling some of the brunt of that right now in our temporary search because people want to continue working not only this summer, but they want to go forward working in the fall, spring, and winter as well. So, requests for painting entire schools, we typically contract that out, and that's usually a $150,000 expense. That's just an average school. If your school is large, like a high school, it can go upwards of $250,000 to paint the interior of a school, classrooms, hallways, restrooms, and that sort of thing, offices. Very expensive, and that requires board approval that goes through the superintendent. So I cannot say, oh, we're going to paint your school. Plus my budget it can't take that hit. Then nothing will get done during the school year because someone's school got painted. I can explain that in more detail, person to person, but don't want to do that here. Anything that really costs over $50,000 as far as your request to me will be questionable because of the budget constraints that I have, and I have to make my money last. This year, Mr. North's directive to me was don't go over budget, because once we do, then it's done. SPLOST money will not be allocated to do things that has traditionally been approved in the past. So you may see some items that are discussed and ultimately rejected because of that, because the money has to last through the entire year. Furniture is coming. One of the things that I will be spending my budget on next year is furniture. So thank you for your furniture requests. Those who have new allotments, just so you know, we're up to $130,000 in furniture requests only, which is also a significant hit if it came out of my budget, which it will next year. Mr. North agreed to take that out of his budget this year, since that is something new for the system. So just know furniture requests do come out of the maintenance budget. Facilitron is up and running as of June 1st. I know there have been some struggles with that, but the primary struggle has been with what was called, or what was being called booster clubs at the high school level. That's the primary issue. We had booster clubs that were being used to facilitate other students from other schools coming in to make them money, which technically is not the definition of a booster club. A booster club is assigned to a particular school, to particular students in that school on a particular team by certain parents. Anything outside of that, when you're bringing in others from the community to make money, that is not technically a booster club, especially when the booster club is not participating in the event, or students in the event are not affiliated with that club, or if the booster club is not officially recognized, or if they have not been submitting their annual audits or their bylaws as required. We can go into that on an individual basis in more detail as well. That is about all. We are working on some safety protocols for the district for active shooter and just general safety. We're working on that. Transportation, of course, we're continuing to work on our routing systems and getting our new director up and running at that capacity. We will continue to introduce people to you in this department going forward in future videos. I do not have any additional information for you at this time. I hope that the rest of your summer goes well and that you have relaxing vacation time. In this department of operations, this is the time where most of the work can get done because there are no distractions in the buildings. Everyone is basically out of the buildings and we can move quickly. The list is extensive. I anticipate that some of the things may spill over into the fall, so just be patient with us. I guarantee you the guys are working and the ladies are working very hard to get everything done. This concludes part 3 of our operations video, and I hope you have a wonderful summer. Thank you.